The Lorraine Valley, a small pastoral province along the French-German border, known for its quiet fields and forests. But it was here for 10 days in September of 1944 that the Battle of Arracourt took place.
We are here on the site of the Battle of Arracourt. We can see the landscape as it looked at the time. There are not many traces of the battle left here. Here's an example of the objects that you can still find, but they're very rare.
Cet obus de 75 avec sa fusée.
Here's a 75mm shell that we found between two tree trunks. It's been here for more than 60 years. And it's still there. No one has been able to remove it. It's one of the few traces left of the battle that once took place here.
Shermans of the 8th Tank Battalion of the American 4th Armored Division are defending the town of Chateau Salin.
It was on the morning of the 24th of September. It was another foggy day, gray, miserable, raining, ceiling zero. I had everything that we could get our hands on. I had my medium tanks. We had a platoon of tank destroyers with us. We had all this lined up along the ridge, feeling that we were going to be attacked. And sure enough, at first light, we looked out, and there was this big patch of woods, Chateau Salin, and out of the woods started coming tanks. And these were mostly Panthers, but they were interspersed were Tiger tanks.
The Tiger is one of Germany's biggest and most fearsome tanks. Its 100 millimeters of frontal armor make it virtually impregnable at long range, and its 88 millimeter cannon can destroy a Sherman tank at a distance of more than 2 kilometers.
It has the best gun that was created in World War II, the 88, which makes it a fearful gun. So when it's head-on, if it's tank versus tank, it has a tremendous advantage. And they had another big advantage. The sky was so gray that there was no air. We couldn't call on air support. So they had that advantage. The minute they came into range, even before they came into real knockout range, we started firing everything we had at them. Massive fire as they came out, so they knew immediately they were going to have a fight. So what our tanks would do, they'd rise, go up to the hill, just high enough so that the gun was above the ridge, fire 2 or 3 rounds, move back, and then move to the side. Sure enough, as soon as he moved, bang, bang, would come around in the area where he had just left. And they'd hit the top of the ridge and ricochet off. And the most terrifying sound I've ever heard is an 88 hitting the ridge and ricocheting. Deafening, frightening sound. They kept advancing, little by little, and we kept firing. Every now and then we'd see a flash, and we knew we'd hit them. And we were losing tanks. So this got to be sort of a seesaw. It was only question of whether they would prevail. At that point, it was almost a tie. And then we noticed suddenly a little crack in the sky, a little daylight. And the next thing we knew, down came the Tactical Air Force. They apparently had been flying overhead, waiting for an opening, and the minute they saw this little opening, down they came. They started hammering away. They were strafing and bombing. Boy, we can't give them enough credit for the way they operated in support of us. And at that point, the Germans said, no, this is too much. And the ones that were still able to function moved back.
The Battle of Arracourt continues for 5 more days. But Hitler's beleaguered armored brigades cannot break the stubborn American defenders. By the end of September, the Germans retreat back towards the Rhine. General Patton's 4th Armored Division has won the Battle of Arracourt.
Nous sommes le 29 septembre.
On September 29th, the Battle of Arracourt ends with the victory of the American tanks over the last German tanks near Réchicourt-la-Petite.
Côté de Réchicourt-la-Petite.
9 Panthers were left burning in a field near the woods outside of
À
Réchicourt.
proximité d'un bois qui se trouve à la sortie de Réchicourt. Nous avons acquis ce...
We acquired this tank, which is a Sherman of the same type which fought here,
ici, pour maintenir la mémoire de ceux qui
to maintain the memory of those who fought here
et pour témoigner notre gratitude
and to show our gratitude for the freedom we still enjoy.
grâce à eux.
In less than 2 weeks of fighting, the Germans lose 200 tanks and assault guns, almost 75% of their original force. And thousands of men are killed, wounded, or captured.
It went badly for several reasons. One of was completely inexperienced top leadership. The whole planning at the time was so makeshift. There was such poor coordination operationally on the top level. We didn't have any training. We didn't even know each other. That was one of the major disadvantages of these new Panzer brigades.
The German soldier couldn't be blind to the reality of the situation that they were on the losing end. They were just losing too much ground overall on both fronts, you see, just moving back toward Germany.
But the American victory in the Lorraine comes at a price. 225 men are killed and 648 wounded. 41 Sherman tanks and 7 Hellcat tank destroyers are lost. The 4th Armored Division seals its reputation as America's elite armored force, and for the rest of the war, they are known as Patton's Vanguard.
It gave us notoriety in the Corps and in Third Army. It was a significant victory because we became extremely well-versed and trained in anti-tank warfare and tank versus tank warfare. We did a beautiful job of keeping the pressure on them.
That was the biggest tank battle of World War II. I can't think of another one. sitting here now, looking back, unbelievable. But I'm very, very proud that I've been there. If I'd be asked to do it again, I would do it. I can't believe I was there. I can't believe I did what I did. It's a very strange feeling.